Okay, we're finally gonna take down Kraid. Several clips after I initially planned. Wait, we get injured by the little eyeballs that fall when we kill the red ones? How the hell does an eyeball falling on Samus hurt? I'm sorry, but where's the logic behind that? Definitely far too used to games where you generally have to deal with every enemy you come across. Okay, is there anything to gain from falling down here? Again, we need the speed upgrade in order to get through. And of course, we can't get any higher up from this side. Guess we're going to the door on the other side of the hole. Okay, another block that we can't just shoot through. And for some reason there's a path from above that leads behind the box. Okay, that's one way to show that the next door is more important than the others we've come across so far. Not especially dangerous in this game, but those walleyes can be quite a pain later on in the series. Yeah, he's a much bigger foe than anyone else we've come across so far in this game. And unless I'm severely misremembering the rest of the series, I think he's the absolute biggest foe we'll have to deal with in any of the 2D games. Technically speaking, it's not that complicated to hurt him. Just shoot a missile at his head to make him open his mouth, then shoot another down his open mouth. Of course, it's gonna be more difficult once we start really causing plenty of damage, and he starts tearing apart bits of the terrain. Though as a side note, my first time running into Kraid in this series, I just fired anywhere and everywhere, not really knowing what was actually causing any damage. For some reason, once he knocked me down from the top, I didn't think to climb back up. I just fired missiles at the holes in his gut and thought I was causing damage despite the fact that his color didn't shift regardless of how many times I struck him there. Thankfully, regardless of how rusty I might get, I'll certainly remember how to deal with this guy in both this game and Super Metroid. It may not be the most elegant way to take him down, but hey, if it works, it works. Now, if only I'd managed to better remember how to deal with those two worms earlier in the game, could have saved myself some embarrassment. By the way, is there any reasonable explanation for the claws he throws at us for most of the fight? Or the outright, hands that shoot from his gut that we can climb up? And what about the fact that shooting him in the invulnerable belly still gives off explosions that imply you're doing some damage when we really aren't? Yeah, this fight is definitely turning out a lot closer than I'd like. Could have been worse, but I've got the feeling we should try to make a bit more of an effort to try to heal up during it. At the very least, it's nice of the big guy to be throwing so many healing items at us. Come on, why is it when we crouch we can't dodge the claw that lands just above us? think we should hold out a little longer before we head back up. Well, at least I've managed to figure out how to avoid taking damage while we recover during the fight. You know, considering Kraid is one of the major enemies in the Space Pirate forces, I'm surprised that dealing with him is so oddly relaxing. Okay, can't fully tell when one of our shots is gonna spark the roar and when it's just gonna slap against the surface without any actual effect. Yeah, definitely feels like the spot on his head I keep hitting to cause a roar is picking and choosing when it works. Okay, seems we just lost the platform we've been using. As if we needed something other than just seeing the big guy turn completely red to know we're close to finishing this fight. Yeah, he's definitely more of a pain to deal with now than in the earlier phases. And that does it. Kraid is finished, at least for this game. I'm pretty sure plenty of people can manage to take him down without getting damaged at all. Still, there's something to be said for a boss fight getting pretty close, instead of being one-sided in your favor. Well, that should open up a good number of paths, assuming, of course, I can figure out how to work this thing in this game. Okay. Now I'm embarrassed a bit ahead of time, since I thought that I'd have to hit a button while running, despite the fact that the game outright told us we didn't have to. Granted, that's something that was the case in Super Metroid and wasn't fully explained during that game, but still. I think that's the only game in that series where they have a dedicated running button. And why the hell did I think I'd be able to start the boosted run by moving in place against a wall, instead of running for a good amount of time to build momentum? I'm just not a fan of the speed boost in any of the 2D games, really. It's one of those abilities that I never really got a handle on in the series, and given how I've been moving, that's no surprise. I have a hard enough time moving around even when we don't move with enhanced speed, or at least moving around with a certain amount of precision. And if it sets off when I'm not, especially trying to get a boost, I'll just make it easier for me to just slam into a hazard. I'm not sure how much of this is just the fact that I've never gotten a handle on the speed boost at all, and how much is the fact that the game doesn't give us too much of an explanation for how to use it. Sure, I appreciate that older games like this don't give us anything that could be considered hand-holdy, but with how many games these days do, sometimes going back to a classic game can catch you off guard even if you see it coming. Or at the very least, that's been the general case with me whenever I go back in time far enough. Definitely took me too long to figure out how to speed up. Not as embarrassing as dying to that worm earlier on, but still. Yeah, that's how it works. Anything other than a door or an unbreakable wall isn't gonna hurt or slow us down in the least. Right. Of course I dropped down here again and somehow forgot that we need the speed boost in order to go to the right. Ugh. Especially since I'm dumb enough to keep running right into easily avoided damage. Anyone want to bet why I never got interested in the 2D Mario or Sonic games when I was a kid? Well, since I'm not in the mood to drop right back into Kraid's room when Kraid's already dead, let's move on. Okay, now we're on the other side. Time to start climbing. Certainly an interesting problem for us to make some progress upwards. Well, as screw-ups go, that was a little annoying. Time to go all the way back up there. Definitely a pain in the ass, but certainly solvable. I just wish I had the dexterity for it, and I'm hoping that either I'll gain that kind of dexterity before we run into any similar puzzles in the later games, or that the later games won't have this sort of thing at all. Right, here's hoping my next mistake won't send us back to the start. Well, we made it to this door. That's gotta be worth something. Huh. Jumping through an acid waterfall certainly didn't do as much damage as I expected. And now we've got an indicator for an upgrade we can't see. Yes, we're going back to the door we worked so hard to reach in the first place. At least there's further up to go. Well, not much we could have done to dodge that bit of debris, though I could have at the very least killed him a bit faster. And now I'm mentally slapping myself for not doing more to search for that upgrade on the left side of this hallway. I wonder if all the lava and acid baths are making the suit cleaner. It's not like we've gotten the sense that the suit has gotten especially dirty after all the crap we've gone through with it. Maybe the suit uses a small amount of energy to prevent dirt, blood, and anything else from sticking to it. And great, now I've reminded myself of the high-tech visor wipers from Star Wars Republic Commando. Yeah. Let's check the door that the map hasn't already partially filled in for us. Okay, I think we can comfortably squeeze in some more stuff for this clip. Oh dear, this could easily go wrong. Okay, I wasn't expecting it to go wrong to the point where we wouldn't even still be on the same floor. Again, who is the ironic bastard who decided to name those things Mellow? Because they are far too aggressive to be given a name like that. As much as I hope shooting them fast enough will get the job done, I've got the feeling that's not the solution here. Considering how stubborn I can be, probably a good idea to just fast forward from here as I keep slamming against that wall of furious bugs. I know, there are easier ways to get from point A to point B, but at this point it's more a matter of principle than trying to be efficient. So the solution was to just spray missiles at the swarm instead of firing a standard beam. Bit of a pain in the ass, but then so's the fact that we have to go through some well-traveled ground to get to fresh areas later on. Considering how often I've been to some of these hallways in this game so far, you'd think I'd have to check the map less often than this. Of course, even with a map, I seem to keep going in directions I don't need to, for reasons I don't remember this long after the initial recording. Nice to know the room with the Ridley and Kraid faces as an indicator now that we opened Kraid's half of it. Speaking of Ridley, looks like the bastard is on his way here. I'd say something about looking forward to dealing with him, but frankly, the list of Metroid games where he doesn't show up is easier to list than the ones where he does. Funny how he's never been in charge of any of the various operations in the series, but he's just about always involved, and just about always one of the most dangerous things Samus has to deal with. Anyway, seems we've got a section of wall that decided to fall apart on us here. Let's see where it leads. Okay. Right to a statue that would send us to the next general direction we need to go. And we're heading back to Norfair. Since that area isn't outright called Ridley, though, I somehow doubt we're gonna take him down in the next clip. Okay, doesn't look like there's anything else in here. Time to move on. At the very least, the sheer distance between us and Norfair is going to be annoying to traverse. I know, we've gone through it before and it's not like the distance is going to be anything especially insane. Especially compared to a lot of other games we've gone through so far, but still, bit of a pain. Right, I'd say the next save point is going to be a solid place to stop for now. And there it is, between us and Norfair.